Mama.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, to all my ninja mommies and daddies. Welcome back to my channel, Ninja Mommy. So this video is part 2 of the 3-part series on sleep training. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series, please pause this video right now. Just do it right now and go quickly watch part 1. And in part 1, I teach you how to get the baby to sleep through the night. And in there I discuss just basically eliminating milk feed. If your baby's already sleeping through the night in your arms, and if you're rocking your baby to sleep, then in this video I'm going to teach you how to eliminate the rocking sleep association. I'm going to teach you how to get the baby to sleep on his or her own in his or her own crib. Okay guys, so without much further ado, let's get started. So at this point, we are rocking baby to sleep in our arms. This whole sleep training process is going to be broken down into 8 steps. In 8 steps, you're going to go from rocking the baby to sleep in your arms to putting the baby in the crib and walking out. Yes guys, it's possible. I will teach you how. So I will be tackling the nighttime training first, and then I will tackle how to go about it with the nap time. For me, nap time was much easier, but for a lot of parents, nap time is really hard. This is why I want to talk about the nighttime first too. And I also actually did nighttime first because I thought the nap time was going to be like so hard. But yeah, so for nighttime, you get your baby ready for bedtime routine. If you want to know what my bedtime routine is with Samara, just go ahead and check one of my videos out on babies and routine. And in that video, I discussed in detail what my bedtime routine is with Samara. Step number 1, which is we are rocking the baby to sleep while we're feeding them or nursing them. Step 2, we are going to stop rocking them, but they're still in our arms while we feed them or nurse them to sleep. You're going to do that for a few days where you're not going to be rocking them to sleep, you're just going to be feeding them. That's it. And they're going to be able to fall asleep. And once they get used to that no motion sleep, then we're going to move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is going to be, you're going to feed them milk in your arms, and after you're done feeding them, you're going to put them in the crib. So if you're nursing them, you're going to nurse them, and once they've finished nursing, you're going to put them in the crib. Make sure your baby does not fall asleep while they're nursing at this step. If they have fallen asleep while nursing, just gently wake them up and put them in the crib. With Samara, I would give her milk while she's sitting in my lap. One of the ways you can do that is give them the milk in a bottle. So if you're nursing, pump your milk and give them in a bottle instead of directly from your breast. That way your baby is not nursing to sleep and they're not laying down while they're drinking milk. So get them to sit up in your lap while they're drinking milk. And once they've finished drinking milk, put them in the crib. So the first few times when you put them in the crib, they might cry and they might say, "Mama, mama, pick me up, pick me up." So what you do, you pick them up and you soothe them and you tell them it's okay, mama's here. And then you try again and put them back in the crib. What I did with Samara is once she finished drinking her milk, I put her in the crib and I stayed in the room with her and I told her, "It's okay, I'm here, don't worry." And I stood right next to the crib and I was like, "It's okay, mama's here, just lay down, it's time to sleep." That brings us to step number 4. Once you have fed the milk in your arms and you have put them in the crib, you sit right next to the crib. Either you sit next to the crib or you lay down right next to the crib. Basically, you want to be really close to them and you want to reassure them that it's okay, I'm here. At this point, you can pat them, you can sing to them, you can remind them gently reminders every few minutes. It's okay, mama's here, go to sleep, it's time to sleep. But you're going to be really close to them, right next to their crib. And they will see that and they know you're here. So Samara saw me that I'm right here. So then she was like, "Okay, fine, I don't need to be picked up, I'll just lay down." So she would lay down a few minutes and then she would like get up and just, you know, chill. And then she would lay down for a few minutes and then she'll like get up again. So they might do that. But as long as you're close to them, next to the crib, reassuring them that you're right there, they will get used to that. Step number 5, you're feeding them milk in your arms, and once they finished milk, you have put them in the crib and you're sitting close to them in the crib. At step number 5, you are going to slowly work your way back and move further and further away from the crib. I have my glider in the room a little bit at a distance from the crib, so my goal was to sit on that glider. You can put a chair in the room, a rocker, whatever it is. The point of this step is to get further and further away from the crib while they're able to fall asleep. So with Samara, I will put her in the crib, and at first I would be sitting right in front of her. So then I would slowly move a few inches back, and then a few inches back, and then a few inches back, until I was sitting on the glider and I'm still in the room. And if she's like freaking out while I'm moving back, I just reassure her that, look, mama is still here, it's time to sleep. I'm like, Samara, lay down please. And then she would lay down, and then every few minutes she would like check, is my mom still here? Yeah, she's still there. Okay, cool. So then she'll do that. She'll like do quick checks up. She will do like a quick checkup on me to make sure I'm still in the room. So the whole point of step number 5 is you're going to slowly move further away from the crib. So step number 6 is you're going to stop giving them milk in your arms or in your lap. You're going to give them the milk inside their crib. So once you get them ready for their bedtime routine, you put them in the crib and you give them their doo-doo. So what we used to do with Samara is we would get her ready for her bedtime routine. While we're getting her ready for her bedtime routine, we would put the milk inside the crib. So as soon as she's done, I'm like, you want doo-doo, Samara? And then we will put her in the crib and she would see the doo-doos and she'll just grab it and she'll like start drinking it. And again, you are still inside the room, sitting on the glider at this point, and she's drinking her milk inside the crib. A little point to note, make sure that your baby sits, make sure that your baby's drinking the milk sitting up. If they lay down and try to drink milk, just gently remind them that, baby, please sit up and drink your milk. We do not lay down and drink the milk. So, and if they don't listen, just, you know, gently like get them up and be like, we don't lay down and drink milk, we sit up and drink milk. Because it's really important for them to drink milk while they're like sitting up. It's a choking hazard otherwise, guys. Step number 6 was give them milk inside the crib while you're sitting on the glider or chair, or while you're sitting further away from the crib. Okay, step number 7 is where you're going to give them milk in the crib and you're going to walk out. When you walk out and they cry, you immediately come back into the room and you try again tomorrow. So for that day, you let it go and you sit in the glider or sit furthest away from the crib and let them know it's okay, mama's here, it's okay, daddy's here, just go to sleep. You will keep doing that until you walk out and they no longer cry. So your goal at this point is for you to walk out, and when you walk out, they don't cry. They just settle themselves to sleep without crying, without tearing, without screeching, without screaming for you. So how we did it was my husband would get her ready for her bedtime routine and he would put her in the crib and he would give her the milk and he would say, good night, Samara, mwah, I love you. And then he would walk out. And when he walks out, if she cries, I walk back, I walk in. So we did this a few times, where one time my husband's like, you know what, Sidra? I have a gut feeling today that she is not going to cry today when I walk out. So he did all his routine, and once he walked out, I didn't hear any crying, nothing. And at that point, I didn't come back in the room. So from that moment on, he would get her ready for her bedtime routine, put her inside the crib, and walk out and say good night, and she falls asleep. That's how we did it, like where one parent gets her ready and the other parent who's going to stay in the room comes back. If you're doing it alone, then you do the same thing. You get them ready for bed and you walk out. But if they cry, immediately you have to come back and you don't leave the room that day. You just stay in the room basically. And you will get to that point. I promise you, I assure you that your baby will eventually stop crying when you walk out of the room and will fall asleep on their own. And the last step is step number 8. This step is about taking the milk out of the crib and getting them to drink milk outside of the crib before their bedtime routine. So with Samara, we did it 30 minutes before her bedtime routine. So her bedtime routine starts at 6 p.m. We gave her milk at 5:30 p.m. You don't have to do it exactly at those times. You can do it whenever you want. Just make sure that they get their milk before their bedtime routine starts. So we would give her milk in her high chair, and once she's done drinking milk, then her dad takes her upstairs, brushes her teeth, and gets her ready for her bedtime routine, and then, you know, does the whole thing. You want to eliminate the milk in the crib is because it can be a choking hazard if the baby lays down and sleeps with the bottle. It can be a huge choking hazard for them. And secondly, it ruins their teeth. It rots their teeth really fast because the sugar in the milk just stays in their teeth overnight and they haven't brushed their teeth. So that's why you want to make sure that they stop drinking the milk in the crib and you give them milk before you even start the whole bedtime routine. But notice guys, I didn't take everything away from her all at once, because when you take everything away from the baby all at once, the baby's going to freak out. It's gonna like, you know, get really scared because everything is changing so fast. This is a gradual process. This process is a little bit slower than sleeping through the night process, but if you stick to it and you take your time at it, the results will be worth it. The results will so be worth it, guys. So while I was sleep training her for the nighttime, the nap time wasn't even in my mind because I wanted to tackle that after she was fully trained at night. So the nap time routine kind of happened accidentally, guys. One day while she was in my arms and I was rocking her to sleep for her nap time, this girl just did not want to go to sleep. So then I told my husband, like I messaged him, like, she's not sleeping, what should I do? And he was like, put her in the crib and see what happens. Put her in the crib and, like, you know, try it. So then I put her in the crib and she didn't fuss, she didn't do anything, she didn't say mama, mama, pick me up. I guess because over the course of, like, you know, the nighttime routine that was happening with her, the nighttime sleep training that was happening, she got so used to it for that nap time, it was easier for her. Why is it easier? For nap time, she's awake a lot longer than she is for her nighttime routine. So that's why it took her less time to go to sleep on her own. And I was able to walk out of the room for her nap time quicker than I was able to do it for her nighttime. So I started the self-soothing process with her on March 25th, 2020, and she was fully sleep trained to the point where I can walk out of the room, my husband can walk out of the room, and she can go to sleep on her own by April 21st, 2020. So it took me less than a month to get her fully sleep trained and to fully self-soothe on her own. And the reason it took me longer is because this is a self-soothing matter. This is a life skill that she had to learn how to sleep on her own. And also because this method involved zero crying. I did not want my baby to cry or tear up in any way. This was a gradual process. I took my sweet time with it because I wanted to make sure that my baby goes to sleep happy and excited. So now when she goes to sleep, she has a huge smile on her face. And I love that. Guys, so those are my 8 steps on how to get the baby to self-soothe and sleep on their own in their own crib. I hope this video was beneficial for you guys. If it was and you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and families. Share it with other moms and dads who are struggling right now, who are sleeping in their room right now with the baby, who are trying to get their baby to sleep on their own. So yeah, share it with everybody, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, Jazakallah khair, thank you so much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you tremendously for it. Alright guys, in my next video, part 3, I'm going to be discussing Q&A and discussing some of the challenges and obstacles that I faced while I was doing this whole sleep training process with Samara. And if you have any questions, comment below. I will personally message back to you, and I will also feature those questions in my part 3 video. Alright guys, my new videos come out every Thursday around 2 p.m. so look out for those. Oh yeah, lastly, Eid Mubarak to everybody. I know for some we had Eid on Saturday, Sunday and Monday, so Eid Mubarak to everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Eid. And yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace.